Here's what men don't understand about equality. You think equality means splitting the bill. Women live in a society where equality has never existed in the first place.
Becca Bloom commented on my TikTok, which is great. I want discourse because she posted a video talking about equality, and I just think the elephant in the room is that you're a billionaire. So what do you know about equality?
When I tell you I just watched a literal 20-something billionaire gently sprinkle freeze-dried codfish and artisanal edible flowers over a plate of imported caviar for her cat, all while I am sitting here literally debating if I can afford the extra $2 upcharge for oat milk in my iced latte today? My jaw is on the floor, it has permanently fused with the linoleum, and I honestly do not think it is ever coming back up. Like, we just witnessed a generational fumble, an absolute masterclass in how to obliterate your entire internet reputation in less than a week over the most tone-deaf rant in human history. We are talking about the complete, public, and frankly unhinged spiral of Becca Bloom. And I say spiral because this was not a slow fade into irrelevancy where people just slowly got bored and stopped watching. This wasn't a gentle unfollowing. No, ma'am. This was a full-on, fiery, catastrophic destruction of an entire internet persona caught in 4K, where the entire timeline collectively did a 180-degree turn and started screaming, "Why is she talking again?" Let's do a massive lore dump for the girlies who have been touching grass and living in blissful ignorance, because we need to understand the deep history here to truly grasp the sheer magnitude of this flop era. We have to go back to the beginning, back to 3 years ago. Here is the thing that makes this entire saga so deeply fascinating to me. People never actually hated Becca for being rich. I want to make that very clear to the girls in the back. That is the wildest part of this whole situation. That was literally the entire appeal of her channel. We are all broke, we are all fighting for our lives in this ridiculous economy, so we actually liked watching the chaos. We loved the wealth. We loved being parasocial little gremlins, watching her live a life we could only dream of. We ate up the insane, out-of-touch hauls. She was giving rich auntie energy, but make it Gen Z TikTok. It was high camp. It was pure escapism. We liked watching the absolute chaos, the casual, oops, I redecorated my luxury apartment again because I was bored on a Tuesday energy. It felt dramatic in a fun way. I need to remind you about the laptop era because it perfectly encapsulates who we thought Becca was. She was the TikToker who treated five-figure purchases like they were impulse buys at the Target dollar spot. I am deadass not joking. Let me paint the picture for the new girlies who missed it. Becca once posted a video where she bought an entirely new Apple MacBook laptop. A whole entire computer. Why, you ask? Did her old one break? Did the motherboard fry? Did she spill an iced macchiato on the keyboard like a normal clumsy person? No. She bought a brand new multi-$1,000 laptop because the aesthetic pastel hardshell case she bought online did not fit the perfectly functioning laptop she already owned. I mean, the side-eye I gave my screen when I saw that? Instead of returning a $20 piece of plastic to Amazon, she dropped thousands on a new machine just to fit the aesthetic of a sleeve. I've been walking around with a cracked phone screen since 2022 because I refused to pay the AppleCare deductible, and this girl is treating a MacBook like it is a travel-sized dry shampoo. And she always had this faux humble attitude about it that we somehow let slide at first. She literally posted a video looking dead into the lens, doing this innocent little voice, and she said, and I quote her exact words here, "You guys, I can't believe there's over 300,000 of you guys listening to me yap every day. Frankly, I don't get the hype, but I'm so honored. I still have no idea what I'm doing on this platform. So I really appreciate you guys teaching me every single day." End quote. Do you hear the performance in that? I don't get the hype. Oh my gosh, I am just a clumsy little billionaire. Silly me, I don't know what I'm doing. And we were like, oh, look at her, she's so oblivious. Slay! We loved it. We thought she was just harmless. And then there was the watch video. Oh my god, the watch vault video. I need to literally describe this to you because it lives in my head rent-free, and I think about it when I am trying to fall asleep. She casually drops a get ready with me video, looking flawless, and says, quote, "The majority of my watch and jewelry collection are actually stored in a bank vault, but I needed this blue watch for an upcoming event this weekend. So I thought while I have this particular box, why not show you guys some of the PC Philippe's that I have?" End quote. PC Philippe's? Bestie, she meant Patek Philippe's, but whatever. A bank vault, you guys. A literal bank vault. Who casually mentions a bank vault while doing their makeup? Who has an archive of luxury watches sitting in a bank vault like it is a pirate's treasure chest? Literally, who is operating like a cartoon villain with a bank vault in the year of our Lord? But we gave her a pass because it was high camp luxury. We were eating it up. But then, things started going left. We entered the dark timeline because suddenly people stopped seeing it as cute luxury and started seeing it as, why are you doing this right now? Bestie, read the room. We are literally in a time where people are budgeting their grocery hauls down to the exact dollar. Rent is absolutely insane across the entire country. People are selling plasma to buy eggs. And here she is, casually showing things on our For You pages that cost more than a normal person's yearly rent, and she is treating it like it is a random Tuesday. And again, let's not gaslight ourselves into thinking we just hate the rich. It is not even about her having money, it is about the timing and the presentation. It started feeling incredibly tone-deaf. And nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, encapsulates this massive disconnect from reality quite like the incident with the cat. We really need to talk about the cat, because this is where the parasocial relationship officially shattered into a million little pieces. She posts this video, right? She is standing in this massive cinematic kitchen. It looks like a full private chef setup, marble islands the size of my entire apartment, immaculate lighting, and she is making a full gourmet breakfast. But not for herself. For her cat, Oscar. And I am not talking about cracking open a can of wet food. No, I am talking quail eggs. Where do you even buy quail eggs? Sushi-grade salmon, literal caviar, edible flowers, all plated like it is a Michelin star restaurant tasting menu for a feline. I need you to hear the words she actually said with her real human mouth, because I am still losing my mind over it. She is meticulously plating this dish and goes, quote, "Some salmon roe caviar for seasoning. I'm not going to put too much of it because I don't want to overwhelm him. Freeze-dried codfish, which I'm just going to sprinkle. Oscar's not going to eat these, but for presentation, we have some edible flowers." End quote. Can we just pause and obsess over the edible flowers for an entire paragraph? Edible flowers. For a cat. A cat who would literally be perfectly thrilled to eat a dead spider off the living room rug. A cat whose ancestors survived in the wild eating actual garbage. And she is gently sprinkling artisanal, organic, probably hand-picked by monks edible flowers over freeze-dried codfish because it looks nice for the presentation. Presentation for who, Becca? Oscar does not have an Instagram aesthetic to maintain. Oscar does not care about your floral arrangement. Oscar is a feline who licks his own backside. It is the most absurd, chronically online display of extreme wealth I have ever seen. She acknowledges the cat will not even eat them. She says it right there in the video. It is pure waste. It is literally throwing money into the garbage for the aesthetic. And she says she doesn't want to overwhelm him with the caviar. Overwhelm him? Becca. Bestie. He doesn't even know what a mortgage is. He is not going to be overwhelmed by the flavor profile of the salmon roe. And the comment section on that video was the first major vibe shift. The girlies were not playing nice anymore. That moment didn't feel fun or campy anymore. It felt gross. It felt excessive in a way that people simply could not laugh at anymore. It was giving Marie Antoinette letting them eat cake while we are out here struggling. And instead of pivoting, instead of doing some PR cleanup or just going back to posting a makeup routine, Becca decided to double down on being completely disconnected from reality. Which brings us to the main event, the absolute disaster, the final nail in the coffin, the gender equality video that she was so proudly talking about. So Becca decides she wants to rebrand as a socio-political activist. She posts this hyper-serious, somber sit-down video talking about gender equality, men, women, splitting bills on dates, how society isn't fair, all that jazz. She looks dead into the camera, giving us her best feminist scholar face, and starts preaching to us. Here's what men don't understand about equality. You think equality means splitting the bill. Women live in a society where equality has never existed in the first place. Women still only make 80% of what a man makes for the same full-time job. So when you ask for a 50-50 date, know that her 50% costs more of her income than it does yours. Second of all, women pay more just to exist in the dating world. About $400 a month just on grooming and beauty. And that's not because they want to spend more. It's because they're held to the beauty standards that men built and judge them by. Not only that, women carry safety risk too. They are 2 to 3 times more likely to experience violence from a date. Men love to talk about equality, but not the part where you have to send your locations to your friends and carry safety weapons in your purse just to go to dinner with you. To be completely fair to her, some people agreed with parts of it initially. The facts she stated about the pink tax, safety risks, and the wage gap are statistically real issues. I am not going to argue with the data. My lash extensions alone are $120 every 2 weeks. My nails are $80, so yes, the beauty standard is a scam built by the patriarchy. But the internet was immediately like, okay, she's not wrong about the statistics, but why is a literal billionaire lecturing a 22-year-old guy working at Home Depot about paying for a steak dinner? The hypocrisy was so loud it was deafening. She is gaslighting us into thinking she struggles with a 50-50 dinner bill when her cat is eating caviar. You are complaining about a $400 a month beauty budget? Girl, you are getting bespoke, imported, diamond-infused facials? Your skincare routine probably costs $4,000 a month. You are not buying drugstore mascara and crying over the price of an eyebrow wax. And the safety weapons? In your purse? Becca, you probably have private security. The message wasn't the problem. The messenger was completely broken. You could tell she meant well, but the way she talked about it while living in extreme luxury accidentally opened a whole other discussion about financial inequality. It was entirely disconnected. One user literally said, "Your cat eats better than most people in the world." Simple, brutal, and absolutely correct. Honestly, where is the lie? I literally had sleep for dinner 2 nights ago, and Oscar is dining on caviar. This isn't even hate, it's just a devastatingly accurate observation. Another user said, "This take is as deep as a Taylor Swift song." She's parroting the most basic takes while actively contributing to a system that oppresses everyone but the 0.1% of which she is a part of. End quote. Oop. The absolute dragging of Taylor aside, this comment read her for absolute filth. Calling her out for parroting basic takes? Absolutely correct. She sounded like she just regurgitated an infographic from 2014 Tumblr and thought she was doing something revolutionary. Calling her an oppressor and a basic Swiftie, all in one sentence, is the most devastating Gen Z insult you could possibly hurl at a woman. You're a billionaire. What are you doing to support these changes you talk about? Literally, how does this affect you? Because seriously, how does the gender wage gap affect an heiress who has an entire bank vault full of Patek Philippe's and has never had to clock into a shift in her entire life? You are not worried about the wage gap, Becca. You literally don't have a wage. And another commenter said, the one that started the true downfall. Another creator stitched her video and commented, quote, "Hey, can we have the same energy for equality and talk about redistributing your billionaire family's wealth?" End quote. The call is coming from inside the house. If you care so much about equality, open your Birkin bag and start paying people's rent. Now, of course, because the internet is a deeply strange place, she still had her little loyal, delusional defenders fighting for her. Someone said, "She is literally not wrong about the 50-50 date thing. Men really need to step up." End quote. To which I say, touch grass, bestie. Context matters. A broken clock is right twice a day, but that doesn't mean I'm going to take financial advice from Marie Antoinette. We don't need billionaires explaining the working class struggle to us. Leave Oscar the cat alone. If I had billion-dollar money, my cat would be eating caviar too, period. End quote. Okay, wait, honestly? Valid. If I won the lottery tomorrow, my dog would be eating Wagyu beef out of a crystal goblet. I won't even lie. But the problem is posting it. Read the room. Keep your cat's Michelin star meals off the internet when people are getting evicted. It is called having an ounce of self-awareness. Why is everyone hating on her for having money? You guys are just jealous and projecting your insecurities. Oh my god, the immediate default to weaponizing therapy speak. We are not jealous and we are not projecting. We're just tired of being lectured by the 1%. Calling out a billionaire for hoarding extreme wealth is not jealousy. It is called having critical thinking skills. Another user said, "At least she is using her platform to talk about real issues instead of just doing another makeup routine." End quote. Is she though? Or is she just using very real, very painful societal issues as aesthetic talking points to make herself seem deep? It's giving performative activism. You do not know this woman. She is not going to invite you to her yacht. You do not need to defend her honor in the TikTok comment section. But here is where Becca permanently ruined everything. Instead of reading the room, instead of ignoring the backlash or responding calmly, she decided to double down. That creator who left the comment about redistributing wealth, they made a whole stitch. They said, quote, "Becca Bloom commented on my TikTok, which is great. I want discourse because she posted a video talking about equality. And I just think the elephant in the room is that you're a billionaire. So what do you know about equality?" End quote. And how did Becca handle this totally valid, polite criticism? She reportedly took that comment about redistributing her family's wealth and called it cyberbullying. Yes, you heard me. She cried cyberbullying. The creator even made a follow-up saying, quote, "What do you know about equality?" All I commented saying was that, hey, can we have the same energy for equality and talk about redistributing your billionaire family's wealth? And apparently that's a cyberbullying comment. The irony of this was that her comment on my video was also in my folded comments. End quote. She folded the creator's comment. She hid it so nobody could see it. Becca is literally gaslighting her entire audience by calling basic critique cyberbullying. When someone politely asks you to acknowledge your systemic financial privilege while you are giving a TED Talk on systemic inequality, that is not cyberbullying, Becca. Cyberbullying is when someone calls you ugly in a high school group chat. What you are experiencing is the working class holding a massive magnifying glass to your generational hoarding of capital. You are a billionaire? You cannot be cyberbullied by the working class asking you to pay taxes. Caught in 4K acting like a victim. And once she framed a valid critique of her immense wealth as bullying, oh my gosh, that was the ultimate trigger. The internet rolled up its sleeves, cracked its knuckles, and said, "Oh, you want to play victim? Let's play." The FBI TikTokers got activated, because now it wasn't just about the silly little tone-deaf equality video anymore. It turned into a full-scale investigation. People were like, okay, let's talk about your wealth then. Where did it come from? How did your family make their money? How did you get this rich in the first place? And where does the money actually come from? And the lore gets so dark and messy so fast. I went deep into the rabbit hole, and here's what the internet detectives uncovered. All of this is public record, by the way. I am just reporting what the internet found. Her parents, Simon Ma and Heidi Cho, co-founded a massive Chinese IT services company called Camilla Information Systems. Keep up with me now. The company went public back in 2010. And at one point, it was literally valued at over $1 billion. A billion with a B. That is not small money. But wait, here is the massive skeleton in the walk-in closet. In 2011, the company was charged with securities fraud. Yes, besties, white-collar crime enters the chat. The creators on TikTok were pulling up the actual legal documents. One video literally broke it down, saying, and I quote word for word, "Some of Becca Bloom's wealth was generated through fraud. They overreported the revenue employee. They overinflated their profits for the fiscal year of 2010. They overrepresented the amount of employees they had by an astronomical portion." End quote. Do you hear that? An astronomical portion. They were overinflating profits. They were lying about how many people worked there. They were playing Monopoly with the stock market. Now that case was eventually settled, and Camilla is still around today. But once that juicy little detail about financial fraud started circulating online, everyone's jaw hit the floor. People definitely raised their eyebrows. Can we just pause and obsess over the absolute irony of this girl posting a video crying about the financial oppression of women, while her family literally overinflated profits and committed securities fraud to build their billion-dollar empire? You want to talk about equality while your family's empire was built on phantom employees? Please, the absolute audacity is staggering. Hollywood writers wish they had this kind of plot twist. And of course, because this is the internet, and people are petty, the immediate next question became, is she actually even that rich right now? Because you know how TikTok is? Once they smell blood in the water, they question everything. There are literal TikTok detectives right now, girls with way too much time on their hands, who swear up and down that some of her Hermes Birkin bags might be knockoffs. Now listen, I am not a luxury authenticator, I buy my bags at Zara, so I am not about to sit here zooming in on the stitching of a leather bag and pretend that I know the difference between authentic Hermes and a fake from DHgate, okay? And honestly, even super rich people wear replicas sometimes because they don't want to get robbed carrying a $30,000 bag on the street. But then you have to look at the real estate and you realize the money has to be real. The houses are not fake. She splits her time between San Francisco and Atherton. And for those of you who don't know Bay Area geography, let me educate you. Atherton is literally one of the most expensive zip codes in the entire United States. It is where all the Silicon Valley tech billionaires live behind massive gates. Most of her videos are filmed in her family's Atherton home, which real estate girlies have casually estimated to be worth around $20 million. And in other videos, you can clearly see this insanely gorgeous penthouse place with the Bay Bridge right in the background. And no, besties, that is not a green screen. It is real life. She has posted these extremely detailed, over-the-top, full date nights in San Francisco too. She will post about casually shopping at Van Cleef in Union Square, having an ultra-luxe dinner at Gren, popping over to the Symphony for some classical music aesthetic, and then, this is the wildest part to me, driving all the way back down to the South Bay for ice cream at Scoop Mo Creary. Let me obsess over this detail for a second, because who in their right mind is driving from the city all the way down the highway at night just to go to Scoop Mo Creary? It takes like an hour. The carbon footprint alone is a crime. That is how you know she isn't dealing with normal people problems. A normal person is exhausted after the symphony and going straight to sleep. She has unlimited energy because she has zero stress. But here is the final, most burning question that has everybody completely baffled, and it is the part that genuinely doesn't add up to me in my brain. If she is truly that rich, if her family has $1 billion IT company and $20 million compounds in Atherton and watch vaults full of Patek Philippe's, why does she even want TikTok fame? Like, let's be incredibly real right now. Most billionaire families stay quiet on purpose. They operate in the shadows. Old money whispers. They want stealth wealth. They do not want attention. They definitely do not want thousands of chronically online Gen Z kids digging into their corporate business filings and fraud settlements from 2011 on a Chinese spy app. So why is she online filming luxury unboxing hauls like she is some micro-influencer who desperately needs the brand deals? Why is she yapping to 300,000 strangers? That's the question people keep asking in her comments. Is it for attention? Is it purely a massive ego trip? Is it a narcissism thing? Is it just fun for her to play influencer? Because money clearly isn't the motivation here. The girl does not need a Sephora sponsorship. And the more she posts, the more she doubles down on the victim narrative, the more people start wondering what the real psychological goal is. Is she lonely? Is it just a sad, parasocial cry for validation because real-life rich society is too boring? It just proves that no matter how much money you have, you cannot buy actual substance, and you cannot buy self-awareness. It stopped feeling like fun, lighthearted escapism, and started feeling like she was talking down to us from her Atherton balcony. It felt like she believed she was above the criticism, playing the victim card, throwing around words like cyberbullying to deflect from her own immense privilege. When your entire brand is built on being the fun, detached, rich girl that we can all live vicariously through, the second you try to step onto a soapbox and lecture the people who are struggling, that is when the image cracks. And right now, honey, that image is completely shattered beyond repair. So now I need you all to sound off in the replies. Do you think that Becca actually ruined her image forever? Or are people being way too harsh on her? Is the internet just doing its usual toxic pile-on? Or did she completely bring this on herself with the edible flowers and the tone-deaf lectures? Drop your unhinged thoughts in the comments because I know this one is going to be incredibly divided, and if you have been watching her from the very beginning, from the laptop case era, I need you to tell me exactly when the switch happened for you. Because for me, it was the moment she sprinkled freeze-dried codfish on the caviar. Stay safe out there, besties. And remember, trust no one.